Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Subha Vesak Mangalyak Veva. Gateway College Kandy welcomes you all to our virtual Vesak program 2021. Senkadagala Daladawai, Vesak Sande Bathi Gee.
More than 2,600 years ago, beneath a salt tree in a garden in Lumbini, a young prince was born. The prince, Siddhartha Gautama, would go on to give up his worldly possessions and wealth in search of a life without suffering. After 6 long years of meditation and subjecting his body to the most extreme conditions, he eventually found spiritual awareness in the middle way, an approach to living that involves moderation, and became the Buddha. He preached this wisdom, spreading the faith we know today as Buddhism. His journey ended when he attained the supreme bliss of nirvana at the age of 80. We commemorate these milestones of the Buddha on Vesak Bathi Day. It is a time during which we reflect on the Buddha's teachings, the Dhamma, and his message of peace and compassion. It is celebrated as a religious festival through Amisa Puja and Pratipatti Puja. Amisa Puja involves making offerings of material things such as food, drinks, and flowers. Pratipatti Puja is when one practices the Dhamma through right moral conduct and meditation. Pratipatti offerings are considered the supreme offering and the best way of honoring the Buddha. Buddhism teaches us to practice universal love, compassion, and wisdom, and to concentrate on the present instead of dwelling on the past or dreaming of the future. The kind of mindfulness that the Buddha preaches is a simple practice. Vesak today is as much as a cultural festival as it is a religious one. Families and friends work together to make Vesak lanterns. As evening falls, streets are illuminated with colorful lights and elaborate pandals depicting stories from the Buddha's life. People serve free food in alms stalls or dansal in the spirit of giving. In our fast-paced world, it is easy to forget the spiritual meaning of Vesak. At this time when life has slowed down and we find ourselves away from friends and loved ones, we have an opportunity to turn the mind inward and to look within. So let us take a moment this Vesak day to clear our mind through meditation. Let us celebrate the Buddha's timeless message of compassion by practicing loving kindness with ourselves and with others.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, and the Supremely Enlightened One. My dear kids in the Dhamma, today I am going to discuss something about self-control. We all know that this is the month of May. Here in this month of May, we celebrate the day of Vesak. We know the importance of the day of Vesak. We know what happened in the history. And those happenings, especially the three great happenings in the history, have given us the opportunity to become great people in the world. So when it comes to the teachings of the Buddha, because we celebrate the birth of the Prince Siddhartha, the great attainment of enlightenment and the passing away of the Buddha. So when we celebrate these three great events, it is very important for us to practice the teachings of the Buddha, because that was the advice given by the Buddha. So self-control is something that we all as human beings should have in our life. Self-control is to regulate our emotions, our thoughts, and especially our behaviors to avoid temptations and impulses. At the same time, we have to use self-control to achieve our goals. Today, if we look at the successful people in the world who have become more successful, have had self-control. Because without self-control, it is very difficult for a person to become successful. Therefore, my dear kids, we all should have self-control. Let me tell you something very nice. If we try to understand the functions of a vehicle, now today we have so many, sophisticated vehicles in the world. Now we use a vehicle to go somewhere, go fast. Now if you look at the vehicles at the modern society, they are sophisticated and they have the latest technologies. But though they have the latest technologies, what happens if the vehicle that we use does not have the proper braking system? That means we are not able to control our vehicle whenever we want. Like that, dear kids, if we do not have self-control, that means we don't have control over our life. Therefore, the Buddha's advice, even Buddha says, Kusalassa Upasampada, develop wholesome qualities in the life. So self-control is one of the wholesome qualities in our life. Therefore, let's determine to develop self-control in our life as a human, as a nice kid, as a person who wishes success in this life. And may the Triple Gem bless you all. Thank you very much.
Sande වෙනෙය කොමුදවනම් වලී සීතලං අද්දින්දුකාර වරරූප විරාජ මානං වන්දාමි සාතු මමලං ජිනදන්ත ධාතුන්.
Sri Daladawai, the temple of the sacred tooth relic of Buddha, is one of the most important Buddhist sites in Sri Lanka, which draws pilgrims and tourists from all over the world. The sacred tooth relic of Gautama Buddha is placed in this majestic Buddhist temple. The tooth relic was brought to Sri Lanka from India by Princess Hemamala and her husband Prince Danta upon the instructions of her father King Guhasiva. The princess, dressed as a nun, hid the relic in her hair on the way to Sri Lanka. They landed in Lanka Patuna during the reign of King Sri Meghavanna of Anuradhapura.
The custody of the tooth relic was bestowed upon the Abhayagiri fraternity, who placed the sacred relic in the Meghalagiri Vihara. As the guardianship of the tooth relic symbolized the right to rule the island, the temple where the relic was placed changed over different kingdoms, and finally to be in Senkadagala, now known as Kandy, the last kingdom of Sri Lanka. In the 17th century AD, under the rule of King Vimaladharma Surya I, the Kandian kingdom became the center of Sinhala Buddhist revival, while Kotte was under the influence of the Portuguese. As a security measure, the Buddhist monks hid the tooth relic in a grinding stone located in the Delgamo Rajamaha Vihara in Ratnapura. Later on, Hiripitiya Diyavarnarala and Devanagala Ratnalankara Thero brought the relic to Kandy. Where King Vimaladharma Surya built a two-storied building to place the sacred tooth relic.
To the Buddhist, the tooth relic is a symbolic monument of Gautama Buddha. After the last king in the Kandian kingdom, the guardianship of the sacred tooth relic was bestowed upon the Askira Malvada chapters of Mahavihara. There is a special staff headed by the Diyavarna Nilame to manage the functions of the Daladawai. These traditions and rituals set forth by the kings who ruled are carried out to date. Dana or alms offered to the tooth relic at 6 specific times during the course of the day. These rituals associated are known as Devava. The world-renowned Dalga Perahara of Kandy is held annually in the month of August to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic. This religious ritual came into practice during the reign of King Kitsiri Meghavanna of Anuradhapura in the 4th century AD. The magnificent existence of Sri Daladawai in the hill capital further signifies the celebration of Vesak with reverence.
මහා කරුණාවෙන්